So much natural beauty, and also wonderful architects and artists know how to bring out the beauty, and everybody who loves brings out beauty in their home, in their family, in their marriage, in their children, in the lives of their children. And beauty is a great revealer, ultimately, of the ultimate beauty, and the giver of the ultimate beauty. As every gift has a giver. Oh, it's going to rain soon, but we'll enjoy what we have here. I think it's going to rain shortly, and I might have to go inside. We'll keep an eye on it. I didn't bring my umbrella because rain wasn't promised until the afternoon, even though it was forecast as all cloudy. A big dark cloud was coming in over the life of a group of people in Damascus. And you know, I've said this before, Damascus is closer here to the Sea of Galilee than Jerusalem is. So out in this direction, where that bird is flying there, straight across is Damascus. If there was a freeway and no boundary, no passport check, it would probably be an hour, a little over an hour to get to Damascus. These purple herons. Today we have a big day because on the road to Damascus there was somebody coming to wipe out that community in Damascus. And today we remember that he was knocked off his horse, knocked off his tank, knocked off his F-16, and he was really challenged. And he'd been an extraordinary man, you know. He was, as he tells us, we have a couple of different readings there you can check out in the link afterwards. He was studying under the greatest teacher of the time, Gamaliel, in Jerusalem. Hey, look at the reflection on the windows in Tiberias of the sunrise. And they're reflecting again on the water. So that's the sun to the clouds, to the windows, to the water, to the camera, and to you. And that's how the conversion of St. Paul ricochets through history. Trying to get those birds for you. There are birds up there flying. They're far away. Maybe you saw them. I can't see them on my little screen here. So there are many very rich messages in this whole incident. The first thing is those Christians who were scared to death, literally, in Damascus wouldn't have expected this turn. And the one that least expected it was Paul himself, Saul. Now we got two big reflections over here coming from the windows. Paul must have been really, really taken by surprise. And Pope Francis has a very interesting line. He repeats that God is a God of surprises. There's the sun disk for you in all its glory. Right here, this end of where that light's finishing on the water there, the catfish are busy, but not clear enough for you to see them. I can hear them here with their beating in the water. It's an amazing thing what God can do in a person's life. Maybe some of you are very worried about your children, about a sibling, about a friend, a co-worker, going down the wrong path. And obviously it's something that you can't take lightly, but it's something for which you can pray ardently. I know a family that was just in contact with me in the last week or so, very worried about a child, and the resource person they're going to speak with said to them, first of all, pray and fast from media, especially social media. You don't have to hang up on this live stream right now. But people are binging on social media and on a lot of stuff that's not good. And even if you think you're able to handle it, don't fool yourself. And they were asked for 1 month to fast on this before showing up for an appointment. And that's telling me something that, it's telling me a lot of things. But anyway, back to our main course here. If something is going wrong in the family, we can help. We can be part of it by prayer and by putting our own lives in order. Maybe there's substance, maybe there's alcohol, maybe there's all kinds of things going on. Maybe there's type of entertainment that's absolutely not up to human dignity level, and there's tons of that out there. So if I want to be working with God so he can do his surprises, I want to be working with God. And I don't want to be in cahoots with any other negative forces. I need to clean up my act. If I want to get healthy, I can't be eating. Diet is a major part. There's another person in touch who talks about his cancer. And a major portion of his therapy is diet. And the diet we put in our soul is much more important and significant and consequential than the diet in our body, which is also important. And it's our responsibility to take care of our health, spiritually and physically and mentally. So there's a great call as well. The call to conversion that Paul experiences is something that he had to go along with, because he, first of all, took a great wake-up call. Like Jonah got a big wake-up call to listen to God's voice as he was traveling away in the opposite direction from God. Sometimes our world travels in the opposite direction from God's will and God's plan. And Paul is turned around. It's a grace. It's primarily a grace. It's not his doing. It's God's mercy. But he needs to do with it. And even Ananias needs to do with it. He's the head in Damascus, and Paul is told to go to him, Saul. And Saul, Ananias says, no way, God, you're mistaken. I have a different Rolodex on this guy. I was in touch with the Mossad, and he's really, really, really bad. So Ananias wants to teach God. Sometimes we want to teach God the diagnosis and the therapy. It's amazing, isn't it? And the fullness of life that comes into this incredible persecutor, things are totally turned around. And there are famous other cases in history. Famous communists, famous drug lords, major criminals. People get turned around because when they start seeing the light coming and the meaning of life, and they just melt before God. They melt. I'm grateful that the rain is holding off here. It looked like it was coming over there from Wadi Hammam, but it's holding off, so I can stay out here and we can enjoy this moment of light coming through the clouds on the road to Damascus, in our own lives and our own roads. And also when we see all the harm going on in the world, your prayer is important. Who knows who was praying at that moment for Saul? Who knows? The Christians in Damascus are surely praying because the heretic is coming. To leave room for God to act in history. Sometimes we all get so tense and frustrated and wound up over political developments, over church developments. And our role isn't to make those decisions and calls because they're the elected people to do that. Our role is something very different. And we have a real role. The secondary and the tertiary roles and the quaternary roles in life are not to be underestimated. The guy that's in charge of plugging in the apparatus is basically as important as the lead drummer and the orchestra director. And the president of a country might have a very sad disappointment if he had a bad taxi driver. And look at this here, so they plug in stuff here, you know. The person that's in charge of that. And somebody else who's in the central power depot of the country that supplies the unit that supplies the power here to the Sea of Galilee. And nobody knows his name. And he has a family, maybe he has a headache. And he has issues he's coping with, or she is coping with. But they're doing their job and the power gets to hear. So prayer is like that. Prayer is the great faith in the spiritual life. That God is the one who has the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. And that's why also we don't have to be absolutely trembling in front of every disastrous circumstance on earth. We can have confidence. This is a big deal, people, because sometimes we take over our lives and we exercise a dominion that's not ours. It's amazing. But you know what? The dominion is given to us. Look at the gospel passage that goes very well with this, because it's about the whole mission Paul has to the world, to win the nations over to proclaim the message of Christ. And the power that's given to the disciples. In the fullness of time, God came in this world. The Word was made flesh. And we participate in that fullness. That's the amazing thing. And it's not just that Jesus makes him identify with us, but we're identified with him really by grace. The strength somebody carries their cancer, the endurance of family through great trial, the endurance of a politician through very unfair treatment, the humility of people to endure disgrace, family disgrace, that maybe other members of the family brought upon the family. That's a helicopter up there, but he was behind the clouds. I just saw a little bit of him now. And the strength that we're given, the life we're given, the godly life inside of us. This is amazing. People, God is at work in our world, and he's worked through us, he's at work through you. And here we are. God bless you. See you later, alligators.